Hi, my name is Spencer Barswitz. I'd like to take the time today to talk about something that's been a pretty hot topic in the news over the past few years, something that's been very heavily debated in regards to college athletes, and that is the payment of college athletes. Now, I'm not a college athlete. I've never been a college athlete. I do work for a Division I university on the equipment staff for the football team. I also date a Division II softball player, so I do have some background knowledge as to what the day-to-day is for a Division I football player, a Division II softball player, but I don't have the personal, on the field, between the ears vision of a college athlete. And I think that is probably the key proponent to any argument. But yet, when I bring this up to people, I've brought up to people who are college athletes. I brought it up to people who aren't college athletes, friends, family, strangers, sports fans, etc. And a lot of times, if I talk to somebody who's not currently in a college sport or never was at a high level for a college sport, it's very quickly to say nope, don't pay college athletes. They don't deserve to get paid. There is no way that somebody receiving a full ride scholarship, if it's $10,000 a year to go to school, they're getting that $10,000 to go to school. It's paying for books, it's paying for housing. And I don't disagree with that. You're right. They do get a full ride scholarship. But at the same time, you have to sit there and think about, what is the school making off of that? How is the school benefiting from that $10,000? You know, if you take into consideration 100 players at $10,000, it's what, $1 million? $1 million? I know there are some schools that go and play games where they get paid over $1 million to play that game, one game. I know that there are universities out there that bring in total revenue over $100 million every year for football alone, let alone other sports, right? They probably making money on other sports too, but football alone, over $100 million, right? So it's very quick for non-athletes, people not in that realm, to jump out and say, you know what? No, they don't deserve that. And if you ask an athlete, they'll say, yeah, we deserve that. You know, imagine you working a job and you put in everything you can do to get to the next level, right? Let's say you're at entry level, you're trying to get to senior level, and you're putting in overtime, you're doing everything you can. People recognize it, but they say, hey, you know what? You're just not going to get that here. You're going to have to go somewhere else, to a bigger league where you can get paid there. Now, you're more likely to leave that job as soon as you can for that job, aren't you? Well, then people get upset when they hear that Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette or guys even like Deebo Samuel for South Carolina who are saying, I'm going to skip my bowl game. Let me get ready for the draft. Oh, you need to play one more game with your brothers. Why? Why? What happens when I tear my ACL? Jake Butt, tight end out of Michigan, tore his ACL in his bowl game. Definitely hurt his draft level. That probably cost him hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. I mean, Jake Butt, great tight end at the University of Michigan, hasn't really had a chance to make a name for himself in the NFL. And I think a big part of that is his injury from the bowl game. And injuries are a key part to this conversation. I mean, every single day, I'm going to keep using football as my example because I spend so much time playing football. But this applies if you're running track, you know, if you're at softball practice, if you're swimming, diving, basketball, whatever it may be, you know, but football especially, you're making contact with people, you know. Go run around on the basketball court making V-cuts and all sorts of different things and tell me your ankles feel great that day, you know. Injuries are huge, and outside of college, those injuries aren't covered. If you don't make it to the league, if you don't go pro, if you're not an Olympian, who's covering those injuries? Those injuries can last a lifetime. I mean, I have injuries from high school that still hurt, let alone college level, top level, where, you know, guys are huge and can beat up on each other. Or, you know, you think in basketball, you got big dudes, 6'6", 6'10" guys running around. That's a lot of weight, running into people, pushing them around. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These players are putting their body on the line every single day for that university, for a chance to get free school, get a free college degree, and make it to the next level for free, right? And then get paid, especially if you can make it to the NBA, the NFL, MLB, even in soccer. I mean, you're probably making a lot more money at a professional level than you would straight out of college with a degree, right? And so then we get guys who, they do want to stay. They want, Tim Tebow, I want to stay another year at Florida. Worked out for Tim Tebow, good for him, right? And as a result, he did get taken in the first round. His NFL career, whatever, it's not as good as it may be, but he's definitely out there making names for himself. But guys like Tebow get praised for staying another year. Well, that's great for Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow could afford to stay that other year. He probably needed that other year to make a first-round pick for himself and get paid a lot more money. But there's a lot of guys that leave early. The smaller schools can't afford as much, but the bigger schools, you start making an impact. Is Zeke going to the draft? Who's going to get drafted this year? Who's going to leave school early? Well, now what happens? I'll use Ezekiel Elliott. I go to school in Ohio, so Ohio State is talked about all the time. What happens when Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Bosa just left Ohio State. What happens when Nick Bosa gets hurt? What happens when Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt? Career ending, can't play anymore. Doesn't have the same hoorah strength that he had before to go out and dominate on the football field. Now he doesn't have a college degree. Now Ezekiel, he can pay for a college degree if he wants another one, if he wants to go get one. Nick Bosa, his brother could probably pay for it by now. Sounds like his parents might be able to afford for him to go back to school, but what about guys that don't? I like to talk about Malik McDowell a lot. I grew up in the same area as Malik McDowell. We went to some of the same camps. Malik is a phenomenal player. A lot better than I ever was. Way better. Hated facing him. Went on to Michigan State, played defensive tackle. Got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. Got in an ATV accident. That ATV accident has put him basically out of the NFL for his career. And he never got to play an NFL game. Malik doesn't come from the best area. I'm not here to say that he doesn't have the financial abilities to go back to college, but certainly not like other guys would. He certainly isn't going to get it for free. McDowell chose to leave early, which is fine. Go to the NFL, get paid. But he doesn't end up getting paid the same way that he would have. And now he doesn't have that college degree for him to go out and get a new job. So how are you going to take these benefits from a player of allowing him to win you games and get sacks, score touchdowns for you, and you're not going to support him past his pro career, right? Like imagine, and this is where people really fall off every time I bring this up, but imagine you retire from the NFL after you graduated a year early from college. Why can't you return to Michigan State for a year? You think Michigan State can't afford that? You think Ohio State can't afford that? You think Alabama can't afford for Trent Richardson to go back and finish his degree? Because Lord knows Trent Richardson's not going to play in the NFL again. And a lot of people say, no. They made their choice. They chose to leave. Yeah, but maybe if they were receiving some money, they wouldn't have made that choice because they wouldn't have had to have left. They could have stuck it out. They would have played all 4 years. They could, and I'm not saying give them $1 million contracts. No way, no. And quite honestly, I'm not even out here pushing the argument that I agree 100%. Every single player needs to be paid for what they do, right? That's outrageous. You can't pay walk-ons the same way that you're going to pay the starting quarterback. You can't pay the softball team the same that you would the football team because the softball team's not bringing the same amount of money. But Title IX says you got to, right, if you bring that up. That's where it gets tricky. I understand all that. So why can't they receive endorsements? Let's talk about endorsements for a second. What are endorsements, right? Basically, they're sponsorships, right? So there's some schools, Nike schools, Adidas schools, Under Armour schools, their jerseys say the logo, Akron's an Adidas school, for example. And they have these endorsement contracts, right? These are hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions on millions of dollars. I mean, outrageous numbers that colleges are receiving in promo money for free gear, things of that nature. Look at TV networks. The ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, receives over $3 billion total, which equates to about $250 million a year, just for a TV contract, so that way ESPN can have the ACC on lockdown and play all their games on TV. That is outrageous. You're trying to tell me that once that gets divvied up to each team, millions and millions of dollars. All right, let's go back to, because most of these schools are public universities, right? So let's go back to tuition being $10,000 a year. Let's say $10,000 a semester, so $20,000 a year, right? So if you got 100 guys on a football team, that's $2 million. You got 20 girls on a softball team, that's what? $400,000? Okay, it's a lot of money, sure, but these colleges are bringing it in. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ticket sales, you got to pay $50 a head to go to a college football game. Sometimes students are free, which is nice, but I've been to schools where students got to pay for their season tickets. And it's ridiculous to watch the amount of money coming into these games that players can't go out of their way and do a commercial with Nike or, Giant Eagle, the local grocery store around here. Why can't they go there, get some money for that, get paid to do that? They're not allowed to. Look at Reggie Bush, Heisman winner in 2005 or 2006. Can't remember off the top of my head. He accepted over $100,000 for playing football. Not from USC, but people around USC, people that knew him, say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And he did great. Damn near won him a national title. Came down to that last play. Vince Young ran right around the end. Nothing you can do about it, right? Reggie Bush, years after leaving college, had his Heisman Trophy stripped for accepting that money. Years. I mean, he probably could have gone to college a second time before that Heisman Trophy got stripped. But they're so hell-bent on the fact that, oh, well, you cheated because you got paid. You didn't cheat because you got paid. What? There's a little extra incentive? There's extra incentive if you offer me a cookie at the end of my job too, but you're not going to fire me because I accepted that cookie. If you could work for your job right now, full-time job making $30,000 a year with benefits, right? You just had a kid, your wife's out of work, okay? Now imagine that another company comes around and says, hey, I'll give you an extra $5,000 for the year. If you do a couple things for me, a couple odds and ends here and there, well, you're taking that money, aren't you? Nobody can tell you can't. That's just a second job, right? Well, college athletes aren't even getting their first job if they can't accept money like that. And in fact, they can't have a job that takes away from their sport. If my girlfriend goes and gets a job as a Division II softball player, she's going to get punished if that job interferes with her sport. Well, how's she supposed to pay rent? How's she supposed to buy books? It's Division II. You can't offer full ride scholarships like that. It's crazy. And I get it that people are outraged that these players, they're just so entitled. They don't deserve that. They're getting free school. I worked all through my college. Yeah, so are they. That's how they're paying for school. Did you not have money to pay for school, pay for rent, go to the bar Saturday night? That's all it is. And in fact, if you continue to do better in your job, even while you're in college, you're probably getting raises. These guys aren't getting raises, they're getting the exact same thing. How would you feel if you busted your ass for 4 years and got the exact same thing? Never saw a raise, never saw an increase, never went up in level, right? For them, going up is to being a starter. What if you're a 4-year starter? Can't get any higher than that. You know, it's like getting hired into management and nobody ever offers you a district position. You know? Well, I've been busting my ass here every single day. I've never been late. I stay late. I work extra hours. I work overtime. Great. Keep it up. Maybe someday when you go to a real company, you'll make a lot more money. But here, no. No raises. Nothing. Well, how am I supposed to get my kid that I just had 6 months ago, new diapers? How am I supposed to get my 4-year-old a Christmas present when I'm living paycheck to paycheck and he's getting older now and I got to get him something else? I'm not saying every college athlete needs to be making $1 million. No way. I'm not saying every college athlete deserves to be paid, right? But let's be real. Universities are making millions. We talked about that. Hundreds of millions of dollars just in football alone. A lot of universities bringing over $100 million in revenue for athletics altogether. Basketball makes a lot of money too. You know what else is crazy? Graduation rates. 86% of Division I college athletes graduate college. 86, right? Not 100. So, okay. Well, guys leave early. Okay, fine. Well, only 75% of Power 5 football players graduate college. Only 253 guys get drafted. There are 16,000 players eligible for the draft in 2018, according to NCAA.org. Over 16,000 eligible to be drafted in 2018. Only 253 get drafted. So, you do the math. There are plenty of guys eligible to be drafted, seniors in college, not finishing their degree. Okay? Basketball, it's only 2% better, 77%. Hey, it is what it is, right? It's not asking too much to let a star athlete go make a couple extra bucks. Guys have problems with guys like Brian Bowen at Louisville for taking $100,000 to go play at Louisville. Yeah, I was pretty upset. I'm a Michigan State fan. I wanted him to go to Michigan State. Chose Louisville. Why? Because I paid him. Fine. You don't like that? Well, then you either need to let him go straight to the NBA from high school again, which you did before, worked fine for LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, etc. Or you need to pay him. They need to be able to get endorsement contract. Brian Bowen, Tua, you're the best college quarterback that we have. Dwayne Haskins, you are the best college football player in the state of Ohio. We want to put you on TV. We want you to do a commercial. We'll pay you $3,000 for it. We'll pay you $6,000. Well, how is that fair? Not everybody gets to do it that way. Don't reward mediocrity. Don't reward the guy at your job that shows up late, that doesn't do the best that he can do, and that doesn't produce, that doesn't make sales, that doesn't cook the food the right way, whatever the case may be. You don't promote that guy. You promote the guy that shows up, does the work, does the best for the company, right? Same thing with a team. You want to earn the right to get an endorsement contract? Go get it. You want to put up 28 points a game in college at a small university against big schools? Go get a commercial. Go be the spokesperson for something, right? And be local. You can put athletes on billboards for what? Free? Because you pay them scholarship? You're throwing athletes on billboards saying, hey, come get our season tickets. You got them on the side of your equipment semi-truck. You just don't put his number or his name out there, right? How about the fact that you got little posters with the schedules going around with their names attached to it? But you can't throw them a couple extra bucks for that. You're going to make these guys. I remember one time I was working. They brought these guys in at like 9 o'clock at night for a photo shoot. It was August. It wasn't during the school year. 9 o'clock at night. I could be doing something so much more useful. You brought me in at 9 o'clock at night for a photo shoot for you to market me and reap the benefits. Again, I'm not saying that every walk-on long snapper should get $5,000 cash money to do whatever he wants with for the year. But if you can put some guys on scholarship and other guys not, why can't you let those that are producing go get endorsements and make money that way? Is it corrupting the sport? No, it's probably de-corrupting it. Because instead of going behind NCAA regulations, now they're doing it the right way. Less problems, less suspensions. You look less bad, right? That's not even a word. But these guys are surviving better. Imagine having the opportunity to stay in college another year and get a degree. So when you break your leg and your career's over because you'll never get back to the way you were, now you have a degree to go get a job somewhere. After football, after basketball, after softball, after track. Help your players as much as you can. Okay, don't baby them through it. They got to earn it like adults, just like the rest of us that do have to go to work, that do have to struggle with which bill am I going to pay this month. Okay, I know that struggle. I got to have roommates to survive. I got to have 2 jobs. College ain't cheap. I know what it's like. But that doesn't mean that because somebody's on scholarship for football that they deserve any less treatment than what you and I deserve. They don't deserve more, even though it might seem like they get more. But they certainly don't deserve less than us either. Just food for thought, not trying to, spark up anybody's emotions here, but definitely feel free to reach out if you have any other thoughts on the matter. I could probably go on for hours, but nobody's probably watching by this point. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to hearing what people have to say. Thank you.